Welcome back to another video where you're going to get my live reaction from an article that I'm going to read. I've only read the first sentence, and there's already an error in the first sentence. But right now, I'm going to read the headline for you. It says, "The jig appears to be up for Nano Dimension. The company raised equity 8 times in 6 months for NNDM stock." And by the end of this video, you're going to decide, is the jig up? Was there even a jig to begin with Nano Dimension? I don't know. It's up to you. But I want to give you one little piece of a tidbit, a morsel of wisdom. Everyone's a genius in a bull market, and everyone's a pessimist in a bear market. Galileo said that. So, we're going to jump into this article. And in the very first sentence, this article is written by this guy. His name's Mark R. Hack Job. I don't know. Is there a J in there somewhere? Probably. Nano Dimension. The first sentence. An Israeli biotech firm. What? Okay. Well, Nano Dimension is not a biotech firm, but that's fine. Do your research, Mark. And hey, I've screwed up before too. It's fine. An Israeli biotech firm with just $400,000 in revenue in the last quarter has raised over $1.4 billion in the past 6 months. Well, part of that is true, right? The last part there. The company seems to be in the business of raising cash through equity offerings. Now the market has caught on, and its cash-raising business could be over for NNDM stock. Ooh, scathing! Guys, a lot of you feel this way. I'm going to continue with the article in a second. But a lot of you feel the same way, right? And you've been saying it for months. Pretty much every time I come up with a Nano Dimension article or a video, if the stock isn't mooning and you aren't making a ton of money, some of you guys are like, they're using me as an ATM. And maybe you feel that way. And I understand, I get it. And I've said that many, many, many times. So again, you're going to have to decide by the end of this video, article, whatever, how you feel about Nano Dimension. Next paragraph. For example, Nano stock risen. Okay. Again, I haven't read this yet. For example, Nano stock risen 450% in the past 6 months, while the company has had 8 capital raises at successively higher prices. The most recent one, for $500 million before expenses, was priced at $12.80 per American depository share on February 15th. It says, as a result, the company has raised $1.489 billion before expenses and likely about $1.415 billion after costs, as it had $37 million in cash as of September 30th. The cash balance before ongoing losses in the company is likely about $1.452 billion. Again, correct. Besides it being a biotech company. You can see this capital raise history in the table I have put together. Ooh, fancy. Click to enlarge. This is pretty good, right? It shows all of the different offerings. 9/30/2020, right? 286 per share. Then 10/1. There were offerings before this, by the way. October 1st for 230. Ooh. October 26th for $3. Then $4 on the 20th. November, on the 30th of November, $5. Then $6. Then $7.50. Then $9.50. Then $12.80. They've raised a lot of money. A lot of money. At the same, I now estimate. Okay, again, it's fine, Mark. It's fine. I now estimate that Nano Dimension has about 244.41 million shares outstanding. That puts its market capitalization at $2.371 billion. Therefore, the company has raised so much money that its remaining cash balance, $1.452 billion, represents 61% of its $2.371 billion market value. Another way to put this is that cash now equals $5.94 per share. NNDM shares are priced currently at $8.77. Whew. All right, it says the market has caught on. Now the market has decided to put an end to this. They've caught on to the game that Nano Dimension was playing. You can't keep diluting shareholders ad infinitum. I'm sure that's a word. It only works if the stock keeps rising consistently. If you raise capital after the price has peaked, the dilution from extra shares with nothing supporting them in the terms of fundamental operations will push Nano NNDM stock down. Let's find out what this word means together. Look up. Open in dictionary. Infinitum may refer to infinity, the mathematical concept, or Infinitium AS, Norwegian recycling operator. Mark had to use a big word to look fancy. Okay, Mark, whatever, buddy. For example, NNDM stock seems to have peaked at 1672 on February 9th. Since then, as of March 2nd, NNDM stock has fallen 45%. Now, there's another error here. I'm not sure why he thinks the stock peaked there. Let's pull up NNDM. The stock peaked just above $18. Okay? Back here on January 26th. All right? Again, it's fine. Don't expect perfection out of you, Mark. The market also realizes that the company is out to make a large acquisition or a series of acquisitions. Therefore, its existing revenue and earnings don't really matter. Okay? Since investors don't like uncertainty, NNDM stock has started to drift down. In addition, there's always the possibility of overpaying for an acquisition, which Yoav Stern has said multiple times. I'm not going to do that. Nano Dimension seems to recognize this issue as well. Management was interviewed on February 3rd in an Israeli magazine called Globes, discussing the difficulties it is having finding a suitable acquisition. Okay, all right. Management blames SPACs as having bid up the prices for quality tech companies in their space. Nevertheless, Nano hired 2 investment banking firms to help it find acquisitions that will synergistically support the company's growth plans. All right, here's it's going to get good. He's going to tell us. Mark is going to tell us what to do, okay? What to do with NNDM stock. It says, I suspect that NNDM stock will continue to float down closer to its $5.94 cash per share level. That is because until the cash is put to work, either with internal research and development or an external acquisition, it is the major asset of the company. Okay, I mean, nothing about IP or anything or the potential revolutionary nature of what they're doing, but whatever. So in a weird sort of twist, NNDM has become a de facto SPAC. With only the shell of an underlying tech business. This is because cash is its major asset. This is ironic since the company has rallied against the SPAC phenomenon that has raised the prices of potential mergers and or acquisitions. It's kind of good. Obviously, it is not exactly a blank check company itself, mainly because the company does not have to return the cash it raised within 24 months like SPACs do. In fact, it might even be better than a SPAC since management is made of technical experts in their circuit board manufacturing business arena. Oh, it's not a biotech business anymore, Mark. Okay. Normally, SPACs are run by non-technical management who actually contribute little to the merged company after they're identifying a merger target. In this case, NNDM stock as a de facto SPAC will have an underlying business that can theoretically provide synergies with an acquisition. Theoretically, okay. For that reason alone, the stock might end up having a small premium over its $5.94 SPAC price. Therefore, assuming a 10% premium, NNDM might end up trading at $6.60 or so until it makes an acquisition. However, that implies that the stock has further to fall. Wait for it to drop another $3 or so before thinking about buying NNDM stock. Guys, you have to decide. I'm laughing at the analogy of NNDM being a de facto SPAC, but guys, if you really think about it, that's kind of a brilliant way to put what's going on right now. I'm sorry to laugh, but we're all waiting for acquisition news for Nano Dimension. I'm holding Nano Dimension in my long-term portfolio. I'm down quite a bit from where I bought it, but I'm holding out, okay? But what are we waiting for? We're waiting for an acquisition target. So in a way, okay, I'm gonna give that one to Mark. Okay, that NNDM is kind of like a de facto SPAC. However, the rest of it, hooey. In my mind, it's just pixie dust, fugazi. Let's go movie. Mm-hmm. All right, so yeah, it was fun. You got to decide. You got to decide what you think, what you want to do with Nano Dimension. This prediction of his for Nano Dimension to go down to 660, okay? Let's go back over to WeBull. For it to get down to 660, even though, 8, 7, we've talked about 7.75, something like that, $8 being really, really good support. I don't want it to get there, right? Again, because I'm a shareholder. I don't want it to get there, but there's a chance that it does. I don't think it's going to drop down to 660. That's from a technical analysis standpoint, there's no support levels there really. There's support at $6. There's support at $7. But right now, 8 is kind of the next stop on the chart, unfortunately. And that sucks to say. But there is a chance that we get down to $7 because we're in this market right now. We're in this time where everything is bloody out there. Everything. So you have to decide, if you're going to hold on or not, okay? But if you believe in this company still, if you believe that their intellectual property, that their potential for these acquisitions is worth more than $5.94 a share or $6.60 per share, you have to decide that long term. And think back, right? If you've been invested for more than a year, you went through the downturn last year in March, right? If you've been invested for more than a year in the stock market, and many of you probably haven't, but for those that sold in March at the bottom, they likely regretted it. And that's why I'm holding Nano Dimension long term, because I still believe in the company. If it gets down to $7, $6.60, something like that, something crazy like that, I will dollar cost average into my position, and I'll hang on for a long, long time, because that's my plan to begin with. I'll add more shares for sure if we get down further. But again, you have to decide what you're going to do. I don't agree with everything that this person said in this article. I just don't. Again, some of the things he said were errors, just blatantly wrong, and that's fine. So let me know. Let me know how you feel. I've heard from a lot of you over the past couple days, just based on my affinity for Nano Dimension, and a lot of you feel like crap right now in this market. And I understand. I get it. You have to ask yourself if you want to sell at the bottom or not. Could this be the bottom for Nano Dimension? No. But being that it's down so much, is that where you want to be selling? Maybe. If you're more short-term, if you have more of a short-term mindset. But I still have high conviction in this company. I still think they're going to do well long term, long term. I have no idea where it's going to go in the short term. And I'm done predicting it in the short term. I really, really am. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another video. I appreciate you. I hope you got a little bit of a laugh out of some of the things Mark said. Maybe you didn't. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments how you feel. I appreciate every single one of you. And, yeah, subscribe if you'd like. Like the video if you'd like. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.